Hi, everybody. I'm sorry I'm a little bit late. It's about 1:06. For those of you who are here, um, I apologize. For those of you who will watch it later, um, you wouldn't know unless I told you. So there you go. We're a little bit late today. We're going to be doing a short lunch and learn today because I'm not feeling altogether great, and uh, I have to conserve my energy. But I'm so happy to be able to learn a little bit of Torah with you. And where we were in learning the Sefer Mesilat Yesharim together, because we were on page 50 and then page 52. So we're going to go there where the Ramchal Moshe Chaim Luzzatto was talking about how to acquire watchfulness, mindfulness, that quality. And he began by saying that, he began saying many things about how to acquire, but one of the things that he says one should contemplate is how much your life changes when you have mindfulness, when we're watchful. He also had three different degrees of motivation for mindfulness, that one can motivate oneself based upon a sense of the responsibility to be mindful, or the fear of what will happen if one isn't mindful, and then he also said there's a way to use, let's say, extrinsic, or the promise of kavod, the promise of some kind of external reward for being more mindful, depending on your level of awareness, your level of consciousness. That's the way in to mindfulness. So here the Ramchal says that one of the things that one should contemplate is that the more evolved one is, the more is expected of that individual soul. It says on page 50 on the bottom, on the top of page 52, Litzcharei Tamid, Ki mi yamod b'yom hadin, u'mi yitzdak livnei boro b'asher hashkavato medakdek el kol davar katan v'gadol. Chen amru raboteinu zal, u'magid l'adam ma seicho, afidu sicha kal asher b'adam b'shas adin, od amru, u'svivav nis'ara me'od milamei shekar baruch hu medakdek im chasidav ki chut ha'sa'ara. He quotes a number of rabbinic statements that say that karmic impact of our deeds is profound, and that part of both the promise of a conscious universe and part of the consequence of a conscious universe, in the language of the rabbis, of a divine being that knows everything that's happening, or we would say that everything is consequential. There isn't an inconsequential behavior or moment. Part of the promise of a meaningful life is that meaning can't just be big moments. It's actually, if what I do matters, it matters in small and medium and large size. So it's not just, there are big moments in my life that are meaningful, or there are people who do meaningful things. It's not just Barack Obama's life that's meaningful, or some celebrity's life that's meaningful. Part of the cult of celebrity in our country is that, that they're the center of the universe, and when they do things, everybody notices it. And the rest of us, can get swept up in thinking that our lives are less meaningful. One of the beautiful things about Facebook, I think, is that there's a sense that there's a record of day-to-day life, right? We might bemoan how banal it's become, and every little thing, someone posts on Facebook, I went and made eggs for breakfast, and then they have 1,000 likes. That's the shadow of it. The positive side is that there's a ledger, there's a sense of a community that cares about our moment to moment, not just the big moments, but the little moments too. And I think that part of the shadow of living in a universe which we say is meaningful, that cares, is that there's a reciprocity between what we do in the universe. Is that if you believe in the butterfly effect, that a butterfly flaps its wings and it has a massive impact. The Ramchal says that that's the notion that the rabbis say that God is medakdek im tzadikim kechut ha'sa'ara, that every little thing matters. and that also that actions that are befitting one person are not befitting another. That there are that consciousness, that the level of awareness and the level of consciousness that you and I have, in the personalized language of a religion where God is a person, is that God has high expectations for his star players, as it were, or God has expectations for those who are in her employ, right? It's not befitting of us to imagine that behavior is static, right? The same behavior done by somebody who should know better will be received in a different way or has a different karmic impact than somebody who doesn't know any better. And so there's a kind of, he's deepening the sense that one can motivate mindfulness when one thinks about how much of an impact all of our small actions have on the world. And then even more, one can deepen one's contemplation and say, not only do I have to be mindful, not only is it I am beholden, or not only am I called to be mindful of my moment-to-moment life, to raise my mindfulness, but I am to judge what behaviors are appropriate for me based upon my own the expectation of of who I am and what my level of awareness is, right? So that's his agenda here on page 52. That in order to acquire mindfulness or watchfulness as the hirut, the Ramchal is saying that one should lead to bonain. We should take a moment to think about how much of an impact moment-to-moment life has on the world and on ourselves. Then he says, Avram, then he's going to deepen this exploration of that the level of awareness that a person has, or the level of consciousness of a given practitioner, will dictate the response, as it were, from the universe. So Abraham, he says, who is the Abraham Ha'ahuv L'Kono, Abraham was beloved by God, as it says in the verse in Isaiah chapter 41, Avram Oavi, the prophet says in God's name that I call Abraham my beloved. Lo palat minadim b'nei dvarim kalim shelo diktek bahem. He said even Abraham was taken to task for the karmic residue of actions that were seemingly insignificant, that he wasn't aware of. Right? Al she'amar b'ma ida amar lo kadosh baruch hu chayecha yadot ida ki ger yezaracha. That when Abraham asked, how will I know? God said, oh, you'll know. Meaning that for someone of Abraham's faith, saying how will I know was had repercussions, that Abraham should have known better, and so on. He's going to go into more of those. We can turn the page to page 54. He's going to go through Abraham and Jacob and Joseph and so on, and David. And then on page 54, on the bottom of the page, if you're still with me, he quotes a saying of the rabbis in the Talmud Chagiga. Uveperek akol chayavin amru. Rabbi Yochanan kan hava mate lahaikra hava bache. That when Rabbi Yochanan used to come to this verse, he used to cry. V'karavti alechem lamishpat v'ayiti eid mimaher. This is from the prophet Malachi, from Malachi, in the 3rd chapter, which is read on the great Sabbath before Passover. This was my haftorah for my bar mitzvah. And when Rabbi Yochanan would come to this verse, he would cry, and I will draw you near to me in judgment, and I will be a witness, a quick witness. He said that he would say, Rabbi Yochanan would say, a servant, is there any remedy for a servant against whom lesser offenses are weighed as great ones are? In the verse from Malachi, it says, I will bring you close to me in judgment, and I will judge you for light, both significant and big moments in your life and small moments in your life. And Rabbi Yochanan was intensely aware of the accusing eye, as it were, of the universe. Now, we not believe in that, in such a divine that is accusatory, but we might use a more impersonal, the karma, like, is it possible? We have to be compassionate for ourselves because we're doing the best we can, but we're also aware that that we leave a lot of, we often break many things, and we need more awareness. We need to just be committed to being more awake. I want to finish the study on, for I see there are 6 viewers. I'm sorry, I said before you guys got on that it's going to be a quick study session because my throat hurts and I'm a little bit under the weather here. But I wanted to finish this by saying I met with somebody recently, and she was saying, Rabbi Ingber, when you teach, sometimes you're teaching really beautiful Torah, and we all love learning Chassidut and mystical teachings. But sometimes in class, she said to me, when people are asleep, you sometimes clap your hands, you just say, wake up, everybody, sit up straight. And she said, sometimes, I don't know if I like that. I kind of feel like you should just let people fall asleep or whatever it is, and not, do that clapping and waking them up. And I said, I understand that. There are often ways to work with that. Meaning sometimes I've heard teachers, and I remember a Buddhist teacher and a Hindu teacher, they would each say, when you're sleeping, it's okay, the soul will hear. And Reb Zalman used to say that sleeping is sometimes good, the body sleeps and the soul is awake. But I also, that's one way to work with it. Another way to work with it is to say that a teacher has to bring a lot of energy in order to teach students. And whoever the teacher is, he or she is helping to lift students, and they're lifting the teacher. And if people are asleep, it's kind of dead weight, it's hard to lift. So there's a responsibility that we have to be awake. And I think that goes for teaching and in classes, and it's also in our lives. And I think we have a responsibility to try our best to wake up even more. Reb Zalman used to say that his daughter, Shalvi, he once went to wake her up. He woke her up, and she said, Abba, you woke me up, but now that I'm awake, can I wake up even more? And Reb Zalman always used to quote that and laugh and say that that's our question. Can we wake up even more? So I want to bless you, bless me, to hear the Ramchal, to take a minute today, 1 minute on the clock, and to think deeply about what it is to be awake and how to bring energy into our lives so that we can manifest wakefulness, whether it's through thinking about how important our actions are and try to be more wakeful, whether it's a little bit of injecting a little bit of fear in the sense of the gravitas of what it is to live an unawake life, right? What it means to be asleep and what happens when we're not awake, or whether it's just in the silence of the beauty and the pristine quality of what it is to be more wakeful in our lives. I want to bless all of you with that today on the day of the 31st day of the Omer, the day of it's Tiferet of Hod, in the balancing of gratitude and of elegance. Tonight will be the 32nd. I'm sorry, today is the 31st day. Tomorrow is Leiv Ba'omer, which is connected with the heart. And then on Wednesday night is Lag Ba'omer, the 33rd day of the Omer Hod Shebachod. And we'll be having a big Lag Ba'omer party at the JCC roof, and more teachings on Lag Ba'omer. So blessings to all of you for a wonderful day full of zihirut, of awareness, and much love. Many brachas.